So I had one in my previous car that I installed, I made a video of. Alright, hello everyone, welcome back to the Fit IT Guy. Today I have the V3 version of the screen rotating bracket from Test Studio. This is a great modification, a lot of people love it, where you can just tilt your screen whichever direction you'd like. Great for the driver, great for the passenger. You can save 25% off on Test Studio with my code TFIG, and let's go ahead and get started with this installation. And I know you guys are going to love it. It's a very simple install. It takes about 15 to 20 minutes, not too bad. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, so first thing we're going to do here is go underneath the screen and go ahead and take our trim tool. We're just going to pop off this bottom cover here underneath the screen. It may take a few tries to get it off. There we go. Now that that's off, we can go ahead and unplug this plug here. This is for the air temperature sensor. You kind of just have to poke this little piece here and that'll let it slide up. Like that. Now that slides right out. There we go. Next, we have these two bolts here. We're going to use the included tool here to take them out. Just going to go ahead and unscrew it like so. A little tight to get it loose, but very easy from there. And if you have a socket wrench, you can do it a lot quicker. I'm just using the included tool to show you how to do it. And at some point it'll get loose enough that you can just use your hand to spin the bolt out. We'll just leave it right here on the wireless charging pad, and we'll get this other one out. All right, there we go. And from there we can actually just start to slide out the screen here. But before we do that, go to safety, and in safety we're going to go to power off and hit power off. Yep. Now the car is powered off. Here you're just going to want to avoid touching the front of the screen, but we're kind of just going to wiggle the screen out. Just be very careful. So just keep wiggling out. Finally, very gently, it's going to come out, and you can just let it down on its face like so. And if you want to be extra safe, put down a little piece of foam here that came with the bracket. And we can put the screen down like that, just to protect the front of the screen. So just looking at the back of the screen here, we're going to use the included tool here. You have a bolt on the left and you have a bolt on the right. We're just going to go ahead and loosen those up. So we'll just use the tool, go in. This is a pretty easy part right here. Just like that, we're going to loosen it up. This will loosen the gray bracket here that is covering the wires. Okay, so now we just unscrewed this gray bracket here. So what we're going to do next is unplug these two connectors. Again, make sure the car is off before you do this with the power off button on the screen. And we're just going to go ahead, push in this clip here and pull out. Don't pull from the wires, just pull from the plastic. There we go. I'm using the trim tool to push down on the board because it looked like the board here was flexing a little, trying to get that connector out. So next we're going to pull off this white plastic piece. This is just a protector, as this is the main connector for the screen. And this stops the screen connector here from coming out. So now that that's out, we can basically push on this purple pin here, if you can see that. I'm going to push on it with the trim tool so you can see exactly where I'm pushing. Right here. And once that's pushed all the way in, this should just come right out. There we go. Awesome. So now we can get rid of this gray bracket here, as the kit comes with a new one. So actually the next thing we're going to do is take the hinge. This is the new hinge. Just going to slide it through like so, with the dots facing up. Just like that. So next we're going to slide these two cables through the new gray bracket that came in. You know it's the new bracket because it has this little hole here, which we're going to mount the temperature sensor onto this later on. Okay, so next we're going to take this new gray bracket piece from the kit. We're going to put just the two main wires that were connected to the screen through there. We're going to wrap it around here, and just like that, it'll fit right over there onto the new bracket hinge. We're going to take our original two bolts that we took out, and we're just going to thread them back in, and then we'll use the tool to fully tighten them up. And remember, these bolts were on pretty tight, so we're going to tighten it pretty tight too, just to make sure nothing comes loose. The last thing you want coming loose is your screen. So now that we got that on, the next thing we're going to do is take this piece here, and we're going to route these two cables through there, and let's bring the screen back up, and we're going to plug these two cables back in. Like so. Okay, and let's go ahead and take this protector here and put it back over the purple plug to protect it from falling out. And just like that, that is now protected. So we're going to take this bracket here, get it on, just using the previous two bolts that were here to attach this new cover back on. So next we have this section where the gap is here. This basically, the new bracket is going to slide right into here. So that's what we're going to do right now. And we're just going to go like so. Okay, so once we slide the screen in, the next thing we're going to do is just screw in these two holes down here, and these two holes are connecting to the new hinge that we just slid into the back of the screen. And we're going to use these two included bolts. These are the last two new bolts that came with the set. And just fully tightening it now for the final step here. Alright, so the final thing we're going to do here is the temperature sensor from the original cover here. We're just going to go ahead and take that off, and we're going to transfer it over to the new cover so that it can fit behind the screen. Alright, and we're just going to go ahead and transfer it over to the new cover now. And you can see it fits perfectly in there, lines up with the holes. So just go ahead and put these screws in. Okay, so this is in tightly. Okay, so the final step is taking the plug here, putting it back into the temperature sensor here, like so. And with that, we can now put this cover on. So this part up here actually goes on the bottom. That's going to clip in first, and then we can clip in the rest. Alright, just like that. Now we can push in the top piece here. These corner pieces, they're a little bit stiff to get on, but that's what holds them on in so nicely. Just like that. Now we'll get the right side here and the right top. Perfect, and it is all in now. Alright, and just like that, the screen tilting bracket is installed. You can see we're in the Model 3 Highland right now actually. There's my Model Y Juniper right there. This bracket is actually for both cars. So I had one in my previous car that I installed, I made a video of. That was the Model Y. So I figured, let me do it in the Model 3 Highland this time. But it is for exactly both cars. It's the same kit for both cars. You won't get a different kit. If you have a Model 3, end up getting a Model Y, you can take your bracket from the 3, put it into the Y. Fits exactly the same. And you can see just how awesome this is. You really feel like you're in a command center now with the screen tilting bracket. Like, the screen is right there. It actually brings it a couple inches closer to you than normal. So actually, for those of you, I've seen people complaining online in some different Tesla Facebook groups saying that, you know, their arms are a little shorter, so the screen tilting bracket helps them reach the screen. So that's pretty cool. You know, you have everything here, and if you have a passenger in a car, they want to, you know, play some music, they can reach on their side, go ahead and switch it right back to you. And the bracket takes a good amount of force to push and pull. People have asked me when I made my previous video, does the screen shake? The screen does not shake. Look at this. I'm pushing. The screen is solid. I would even say it's even more solid than the original screen bracket. This hinge is so strong. Think of the strongest monitor arm for a desk that you can think of. It's stronger than that. So yeah, like I said, for the Model 3 Highland, for the Model Y Juniper, they make it also for the original Model 3, original Model Y. This is the V3 version again. The screen is the exact same height as it was in the beginning. You can look back at the video, see how the screen looked. Same height. All it does is bring it in a couple inches closer to you. It actually makes touching the screen even easier because it's closer to you. And I have very long arms, so I actually don't mind it being closer to me. It's actually, and it looks pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie, it looks pretty cool. All right, everyone, I hope you enjoyed this video. As you can see, this was a very easy install, probably about 20 minutes max. And yeah, here's our screen tilting bracket. You can see the hinge behind the screen looks very OEM, looks very robust. It's not a cheap looking bracket. It's a very strong bracket too. So there you go. Our passenger has access. We have full access, and if we want it to be in the center, it's still in the center. Like I said, it does bring the screen forward a couple inches, so be mindful of that. But for most people, that's actually a benefit. So even if we want to, we can put the screen fully up, get some glare protection, or even down here, get some real glare protection too. Even with my mag back phone mount, it's not hitting the steering wheel here, which was another reason I wanted to show it to you on the Model 3, because we have a steering wheel here. On my Model Y Juniper, we have the yoke. So you can see even with my mag back phone mount, it's not getting in the way of the steering wheel. And this is me in easy entry. If I put it down, you can see I can put my phone mount here. I can put my phone on the phone mount here. No issues at all. I fully turn the screen both ways. It's not hitting the dash screen. It's not hitting the screen itself. So just a really cool modification, very cheap. With my discount code TFIG, you save 25% on teststudio.com. This comes out to just under $100, so probably one of the cheaper but most useful mods you can do on your Model 3, your Model Y, Model 3 Highland, or Model 3 Juniper, or Model Y Juniper. So thanks for watching the Fit IT Guy, and see you next time.